Hi everyone! Just getting things started. Alright, just getting my screen set up. Hello everybody! So, my name is Leo. I am a postdoc here at University of Toronto. And I study galaxy clusters, and so I will be leading today. I will be your host for today. We are going to be talking, we're going to be doing trivia about astronomy as seen in science fiction. So we're going to wait a few minutes and see if we can get some people to join in the stream. Ooh, I see we have somebody from Detroit. Hello! Somebody's asking about my gravitational lensing tattoo. Okay. I gotta do this one. Thank you for asking. All right, so for those of you who have seen this before, I actually have a tattoo of gravitational lensing. It's right here. I have a whole astronomy sleeve, and it's great. And I put all of the things in my that have influenced me in my astronomical career. It is so right here we have sort of a cluster from the Able surveys. Here we have the lensing cluster. Here we have the background galaxies that are being lensed. And here's what happens when we add a little bit of mass to the system. Sorry, I had to make a dumb joke. All right, so yeah, let's wait a few more minutes for a few more people to join in. I wanted to do this. Before I get into why I wanted to do astronomy and science fiction, if you're hoping to play, you can see my Kahoot screen. Hopefully on the stream. So what you can do is on your phone or on your computer, go to www.kahoot.it. So that's linked. So that's shown up in the window capture I have up here. When you get there, you can put in the game pin. That will allow you to join this game. So can everybody see the link? Please feel free to join in. Oh, so okay, so I see that it is slightly cut off the screen. The game pin is 5780057. 5780057. And the link again is www.kahoot.it. Let's see, can we get anybody joining in? It does sound like a phone number. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes. Oh, there we go. Seeing lots of people joining in. I have 41 people, 42 people so far. That's great. We're not going to begin right now. We're going to begin somewhat soon, though. So I wanted to do this particular subject, astronomy and science fiction, because if you're anything like me, you sort of got inspired to get into astronomy because of science fiction. I've been watching and reading science fiction since I was a kid. I think the first one I really remember was Star Wars when I was really, really little. And I'm so interested, just as sort of like a side project in how we can use astronomy to talk about, use science fiction to talk about astronomy. So I've collected here a number of questions. I've tried to write them so that if you're not familiar with this particular science fiction franchise, or you haven't seen this movie or read this book, that you'll still be able to answer the question. I mostly tried to ask questions about physics and astronomy as seen in these stories. But that's not so there are a few questions where you do need to know the particular franchise, but not very many of them. Okay. So if you're like, I assume that you're like me, kind of a sci-fi nerd if you're here, or an astronomy nerd. If you like a particular science fiction franchise, put it in the chat. I'm curious what everybody was sort of inspired by that helped them get interested in astronomy. Also, if you're playing wherever you're playing from, put it in the chat. I want to see where everybody's playing from. Anybody nerds? Yeah, Mike, you're a nerd. Ooh, Ringworld. I need to read that one. I've heard really good things about it. Toronto, Mississauga, great. Milton, lots of Toronto. NYC! Hello, fellow American! I mean, I'm in Toronto right now, but Mississauga, Warhammer. Thanks, Jacob. Oh, fantastic. We're going to start here in about 3 minutes. I just want there to be plenty of time for anybody who's interested to show up. While we're waiting, I'm going to give a land acknowledgement because I'm here at University of Toronto. So I wish to acknowledge this land on which the University of Toronto operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. All right, thank you so much all for showing up. 2 more minutes before we start. Ooh, I see The Expanse, Star Wars. Yeah, fighting in space is pretty cool. I really liked The Expanse because I liked that like how they change course in their spacecraft is a little bit more realistic in that you don't just constantly have the burners on. You use it for accelerating or decelerating or changing. So that's pretty cool. I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed The Expanse. A few questions about The Expanse too. And Star Wars. I won't ruin anything more for everybody. All right, let's see. Ooh, we have 60 people. I'm so excited. All right, 1 more minute, then we're going to start. Good crowd today. Oh, I'm excited about this one. This is going to be a particularly good one. I wish I was playing, guys. All right, we are here at 7:10, so let's begin. So we are going to be doing astronomy in science fiction. A few kinds of nerdery are involved in this. So, before we begin, let's go over the rules. Basically, anybody can play, but we can only send prizes to Canadian addresses outside of Quebec. There's some issue with mailing in Quebec. If you're in Quebec, I'm very sorry. If you are not in Canada or you are in Quebec, please feel free to play. You just can't get prizes. However, do keep in mind that sweet, sweet pride you can get from doing very well and winning trivia. Even if you don't win anything, that's okay. You will know that you are the biggest nerd here, which that says something. Also, anybody with a graduate degree in astronomy or equivalent experiences are not eligible to win prizes. I'm sorry, you can play, but you have a little bit of an unfair advantage over everybody. I know, I want to play too because some of these prizes are pretty great, but sorry, this is what we get for being this kind of nerd, but that's okay. If you're under 18, please make sure you have your parents' permission to play. On that note, please keep the chat respectful, family-friendly. No swearing. There's a time and a place for that, and that's called Astronomy on Tap. That's a joke. If you want a prize, you must use your real email address on Kahoot to sign up. So this is so that we can contact you after the game if you're one of the winners, and we can get your actual address that way and send it to you. We won't be using your email address for anything weird. We're not trying to sell you anything. We're just astronomers trying to get people interested in science. So don't worry about it. Please use your real email. So with those rules, I'm going to move on to prizes while we're all here. So we have some great prizes today. So if you are one of the top winners and you are contacted, you actually get a choice of the 3 prizes. And once the first place winner has chosen, we go down to the second place winner and they can choose the next prize. So if you get first prize, you don't necessarily get prize number 1. If you're second place, you don't necessarily get prize number 2, etc., etc. So prize number 1 is a Celestron travel scope. This is why I really wanted to be in trivia, because that thing is sweet. Like, I invited a bunch of friends. No, I'm not helping them cheat. I invited a bunch of friends from IRL to play because, like, selfishly, I kind of want one of my friends to win this. But that's okay. That's okay. Whoever wins it, you're the biggest nerd and you deserve it. So please pick up, so yeah, prize number 1 is awesome. Prize number 2 is also awesome. It is a $40 gift certificate to Baka Phoenix. So Baka Phoenix is Toronto's oldest sci-fi bookstore. And it's good to support local businesses, particularly booksellers. And you know, it's sci-fi theme. We're doing sci-fi today. And if you haven't been to Baka Phoenix yet, you totally should. I need to go at some point. So prize number 3 is Dunlap Institute swag. That includes a mug, a squishy star, and a t-shirt. Do you want to show off how smart and nerdy you are? You definitely want to get that t-shirt. Are you a little bit stressed out, like many astronomers are? Squishy star will help. Also, that mug is great. So I used to have one of those mugs, and I'm really sad because I lost it. I need to find it. It's so great that, again, if you're like me, and I like to joke, I can tell that one day I'm going to become a professor because I'm starting to get a little absent-minded, you know how profs are. So, like, if you're like me, you make tea, and then you forget that the tea happened. And a couple hours later, oh, I made tea. The great thing about that mug is that it's happened to me so many times, and the tea is always still hot. That thing holds heat so well. So you also want to get prize number 3. Anyway, so I'll stop talking about the prizes. Do keep those in mind, and we can start actually playing the game now. So let's start out with our first question. So, Han Solo claims that the Millennium Falcon finished the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. What unit does a parsec measure? Charge, distance, mass, or time? Ooh, fast one. I don't always have a chance to look at the chat. So, oh, hi, Phil. Ooh, most people got that right. Yes, a parsec is a unit of distance. Some people think that there's a canonical reason for this. I know in the new Han Solo movie they actually address this straight up, but Han Solo makes it sound like he finished the Kessel Run in a unit of time. But again, a parsec is a unit of distance that we use in astronomy. 1 parsec, we like to say, is sort of like the average distance between stars. And 1 parsec is about equal to a little bit more than 4 light years. So the closest star to us is actually about 1.3 parsecs away from us, just in case you were curious about what we mean by parsecs. So, next question. Ooh, let's see. Who? Mighty Ant, Diplomat Stork, Champion Horse, Sturdy Ibex, and Adorable Owl. Great start. Fantastic job, y'all. Just in case you've never played Kahoot before, you do get extra points the faster you answer these questions, so do keep that in mind. So, next question. Dr. Arroway, Jodie Foster's character in Contact, was partially based on which real-life astronomer? This is a bit of a hard one. Kind of have to be really into astronomy to know this one off the bat. I have yet to meet this woman, but I would really like to. A bit of a dream of mine. Ooh, very divided one. Good job, everyone. But still, Dr. Jill Tarter. Great job, everyone. So, Jill Tarter, in case you don't know who Jill Tarter is, she's the person who runs SETI. So this is why she actually was the inspiration for Dr. Arroway, because like Dr. Arroway uses SETI resources, uses real astronomical methods for finding life outside of Earth. So great movie. I recommend it. Also one of the first few sci-fis I saw when I was very little. Let's see. Ooh, so the mighty have fallen. Radiant Oryx. Great job. Highest climber. That's great. Up 38 places. Well done. So we're currently being led by Champion Horse, Space Eagle, Friendly Finch, Smiling Pelican, and Wonder Badger. Great job, everyone. Next question. Which sci-fi trope is the most scientifically motivated for beating the cosmic speed limit of the speed of light? So what seems the most likely way to beat the speed of light? Which one do we think could happen? And this is just sort of a trope. So this is seen in many different science fiction movies, books, TV shows. So a warp drive, a wormhole, a tachyon drive, or hyperspace travel? Ooh, so a lot of people put in a warp drive versus a wormhole. Ooh, that's interesting. So I wrote this so that a wormhole is the most scientifically motivated because there's technically nothing in general relativity that says that the universe can't warp space-time to a point where 2 points can touch that aren't physically in contact with each other. Whereas the warp drive, like, engineers always keep saying, oh, we're about to build a warp drive. Oh, we're about to build a warp drive. Frankly, I'm going to need to see some more evidence before I trust the engineers on this. So, yeah. That is, let's see who is, ooh, Champion Horse. Great job staying on top. 9 players got 3 answers right. Great job, guys. I made some of these pretty hard, so let's see if you can still do that. Next question. What is the biggest scientific inaccuracy in the Andy Weir book and 2015 film, The Martian? Your choices are using an extravehicular activity suit like an Iron Man glove, growing potatoes in Martian soil, the massive windstorm, and using radioisotope thermal generators as a portable heat source. So what is the most unrealistic? It's okay if sci-fi includes some unrealistic elements. That's just sort of how these things go. But what's the most inaccurate? Ooh, tough one. So all of these seem a little bit unlikely, but the massive windstorm is actually the biggest scientific inaccuracy in The Martian. So why this is that actually there isn't a lot of atmosphere on Mars. So because of that, windstorms are actually not going to be very strong. So like if you're on Mars in the future, if you're so lucky as to be on Mars in the future, and you come upon a windstorm, you're probably gonna be fine. Like, it's not gonna destroy anything. Don't. Also, I highly recommend, if you get the chance, take a look at some of the rover footage of some of the dust devils. It's fantastic. It's so cool looking. All right, so let's see who is leading. Ooh, champion horse, well done. Social Pigeon, great job moving up 26 places. That was a fast answer. All right, so next. What 1960s hypothetical subatomic particle travels faster than light and was featured in the graphic novel Watchmen? Also featured in some Star Trek I've found. So your choices are the tachyon, the W boson, the neutrino, or the muon. Oh yeah. Space Cat. Glad somebody noticed. I like kitties and I like space. Only a couple more seconds. Ooh, the tachyon. Great job, guys. Yeah, Dr. Manhattan makes a really big deal about how tachyons are messing up some of his senses. So, yeah, I was hoping that people would get that. So, let's see. Ooh, so the mighty have fallen. Champion horse, you are now at 4th place. Now Wonder Badger, great job. And Space Eagle, very good name, Space Eagle. Ooh, Answer Street 5, great job. 6 players. Man, some of you guys are nerdy. All right, so in Arthur C. Clarke's Rendezvous with Rama, what cylindrical an alien cylindrical craft produces artificial gravity using which force? So this is actually a method that people think could be used to create artificial gravity. Is this using frictional force, tension force, centripetal force, or electromagnetic force? If you haven't read Rendezvous with Rama, very fun book. Also, Arthur Clarke is a physicist. Ooh, so many people got that right. Ooh, so what happened in Rendezvous with Rama is this alien craft is rotating at a specific speed, and this produces centripetal force that actually creates an artificial gravity along the sort of rim of this huge craft. This has also been seen in a few other sci-fi franchises. I remember seeing it in Interstellar. I think that it was also in a part of 2001: A Space Odyssey. So sort of fun and a great use of Arthur Clarke's physics bachelors. So yeah, let's see who is in the lead now. Space Eagle. All right, and Friendly Finch and Champion Horse. Champion Horse is coming back up. Great job, everyone. 11 players got 3 answers in a row correct. Wow. Again, just some of the nerdery I have seen off of people in trivia. Just, you should be proud of yourselves. Well done. I chose some deep cuts. Anyway, so next question. In The Expanse, slingshotting is a dangerous and illegal sport which uses the energy of what to increase a spacecraft's velocity? Is it a black hole, a planet's orbit around the sun, cosmic rays, or nuclear fusion? And I won't give any more context. Although I do love The Expanse because, my God, they love using some fun physics. That's what I like about sci-fi. You get to use regular physics and like really draw it out into something odd. And most people got it is a planet's orbit around the sun. So slingshotting refers to a maneuver called the gravitational slingshot. And you might think that this is purely a theoretical maneuver, but it's not. It's actually been used in real spacecraft. I forget the particular missions it was used in, but basically what you're doing is you sort of go around a planet while it is in orbit around the sun, and from that you can actually sort of take from the planet a little bit of its momentum, and it goes into the spacecraft that you are piloting then. And it boosts the speed of that spacecraft. And this has been done before in real life. So you may want to take a look at that if you're interested in slingshotting. But I'm just very amused that in The Expanse, it's a popular sport among the belters, although it can get them in a little bit of trouble because it's considered too dangerous to be legal. So yeah, anyway, so let's see who is leading now. Space Eagle. Great job. Everybody else has been displaced. Ooh, I remember Radiant Oryx. You were doing so well at the beginning, too. Ooh, tough round. All right, next question. An Einstein-Rosen bridge, as seen in Marvel's Thor, is more commonly known by what name? A black hole, a wormhole, a white hole, or a rabbit hole? Ooh, you guys know this one. Sorry, I'm including some Marvel movies as sci-fi, because Thor was kind of sci-fi, let's be honest. Ha ha ha, I couldn't trick you guys. All right, yeah, it is a wormhole. The Einstein-Rosen bridge is sort of what it was called when it was being developed. So these are seen all over in sci-fi. I remember it was in Stargate. One of my first encounters with wormholes and Einstein-Rosen bridges was actually in a children's sci-fi book called A Wrinkle in Time. If you haven't read A Wrinkle in Time, again, highly recommend it. It is the best literary description of a wormhole that I have seen. And again, children's book. Fantastic book. If you have kids, read it to them. Anyway, so let's see. How are y'all doing? Ooh, Space Eagle, you got that. Purple Dingo, Radiant Oryx, Wonder Badger, Royal Ferret, great job. Let's see what our next question is. Which Nobel Prize winning theoretical physicist was a scientific consultant for Interstellar? Was it Dr. Brian Cox, Dr. Roger Penrose, Dr. Kip Thorne, or Dr. Andrea Getz? I really liked Interstellar. I mean, yeah, love held the universe together at the end, which is a little bit cheesy, but like, we don't know what dark matter really is. Maybe it is made of love. I don't know, your guess is as good as mine. I'm the one with the PhD here, come on. Ooh, a little bit of a tougher one. So the answer was Dr. Kip Thorne. I remember when Interstellar came out, there were a lot of fun interviews with Dr. Thorne. One of the really fun things about Interstellar was just sort of how accurate a lot of the physics used around the black hole, Gargantua, its name, was, and how a lot of the simulations that were being used actually helped some of the researchers learn a few things about black holes, because sometimes in astronomy we could, some of us could use some of the GPUs that are used for calculations in the movie industry. That would be really nice. Anyway, so let's see who's winning. Also, we are halfway done. There's been 10 questions. We have 10 more. So let's see who is leading in the middle of things. Royal Ferret. Wow, you have really 9 correct answers in a row. You nerd. Same with you, Space Eagle, Purple Dingo, Epic Yeti, and Agile Hamster. Again, we're calling people nerds here, not as a bad thing. Being a nerd is a good thing. It means you're smart. It means that you are a nerd in both media and in science, which is something to be proud of. All right, next questions. Which isotope of hydrogen is used as a reactant in Star Trek warp drive systems, and how many neutrons does it have? Deuterium, 2 neutrons. Tritium, 2 neutrons. Deuterium, 3 neutrons, or tritium, 3 neutrons. Yeah, this is maybe one you needed to watch Star Trek for, but come on, watch Star Trek. It's great. I'm a Picard girl because I grew up during the TNG era. Tough one. The answer was deuterium, and deuterium, hence Deu, has 2 neutrons. So regular old hydrogen just has 1 proton and 1 neutron. An isotope is an atom that has the same number of protons, but it has more or less neutrons. So since it is an isotope of hydrogen, it has more than 1 neutron. So instead, deuterium has 2 neutrons. Similarly, tritium is another isotope of hydrogen, and it has 3 neutrons associated with it, hence tri. Anyway, so that is, I guess it's maybe more technically chemistry than astronomy, but like we use isotopes in astronomy all the time. So let's see who is leading. Space Eagle, wow. Herring Koala, great come up. Purple Dingo, great job. Radiant Oryx, and Social Pigeon. Alright, thank you everybody. Let us go on to the next. In Interstellar, the crew ages slower, close to a black hole. This is due to what special relativity effect? Is it the relativity of simultaneity, length contraction, Lorentz transformations, or time dilation? I loved Interstellar because of just how accurate this was, and I loved that it was used as a point in drama. I love when astronomy is used as when the little sort of tricks of the universe are used in storytelling. Ooh, you all got it right. It's time dilation. That's fantastic. So time dilation is what happens when a different frame of reference is moving closer to the speed of light. When something is going closer to the speed of light, time will travel differently in this different frame of reference. Let's see. Ooh, I also had it pointed out to me. I made a little mistake in the previous question. Deuterium only has 1 proton and 1 neutron, so it's 2 nuclear. I got mixed up in my mind. It's actually 2 particles in its nucleus, whereas tritium has 2 neutrons and 1 proton, so that would be 3 subatomic particles. So I apologize for that, but it is deuterium. Alright, so time dilation. Great, so we can move on. I apologize for my little mistake in the previous one. So let's see who is leading. Space Eagle, you are still flying above the competition, followed closely by Herring Koala, Purple Dingo, Radiant Oryx, and Social Pigeon. Great job, everyone. Next question. What now fringe astrobiology theory was used as an explanation for the humanoid appearance of most aliens in Star Trek? Just in case you haven't seen this episode, it was an episode of TNG, or The Next Generation, with my favorite captain, Picard, pictured here. And I say that this is now a fringe theory because most astrobiologists don't think that this is the case. But still leads to some cool sci-fi. 2, 1. Ooh, some people got abiogenesis. That's not the correct answer. It's directed panspermia. So, panspermia is the idea that life actually comes from space, and that life can be sort of seeded from space. So, that life didn't necessarily develop on Earth. Maybe it came on like a comet. And it's not like that far out there, because like we know that we've seen organic molecules in space, just free floating in space. Like there's ethanol in space. There's sugars in space. So like maybe while DNA is a little bit complex and would get destroyed by the radiation out in space, it's not like that far-fetched that maybe life was seeded in space. Directed panspermia is the idea that some sort of alien race purposefully is sending out its DNA into space. This is kind of a fringe theory now because that sort of requires alien intelligence to be involved, and that we don't really have evidence that aliens at that level exist yet, so it seems a little bit far-fetched for people who are actually doing astrobiology. I've also included creation theory and ancient aliens. Ancient aliens is another pretty fringe theory. While I don't believe in ancient aliens, I do think it leads to some very, very fun sci-fi, so that's why I included it in there as well. Alright, so let's see who's leading. Ooh, Epic Yeti really jumped up. Also, Space Eagle, my god. Flying above the competition. I listen to too much heavy metal. Alright, so, next question. In Star Wars, asteroid fields are very dangerous. What is the average distance between asteroids in our asteroid belt? So, like, in a bunch of different Star Wars, you see, the Millennium Falcon dipping and diving through asteroid fields. But is this accurate? We sort of have our own asteroid belt to really learn about asteroids in. That's where most of the asteroids are in our solar system. Ooh, a lot of people got 25K. No, it's nearly 1 million K apart is the average distance between asteroids. So, the interesting thing about the asteroid belt in our solar system is that everything is really far apart. Space isn't very dense. And so when NASA sent a probe, I think it was the Voyager probe, I forget exactly which probe it was, through the asteroid belt, they actually had to plan in order to be able to even see an asteroid in their sensors. They wanted to. So, like, if in the future, if you get the chance to go up into space and you get the opportunity to go through the asteroid belt, never fear, you likely will not be hit. So don't worry about that. Instead, worry about space radiation, because that's what we should all be scared of if we are in space. Anyway, so let's see what our leaderboard is. Space Eagle, are you still up there? Space Eagle, fantastic. Purple Dingo, Wonder Badger, Social Pigeon, and Epic Yeti. Great job. Great job to everybody, though, because some of these are kind of hard questions. I'm going to be honest with you. I tried to put sort of a mixture of easy and hard. So, next question. In Armageddon, 1998, a nuclear bomb, is used to deflect an asteroid. What NASA mission recently successfully deflected an asteroid? They didn't use a nuclear bomb. That would have been maybe a little bit more exciting, but NASA figured out that a nuclear bomb is not actually a very good way to deflect an asteroid. There's different ways to do it. And what they tried turned out to be fantastic. And this was done this year. So hopefully you took a look. Ooh, you guys got it right. Okay. Okay, yeah, this was very recent, so I'm really glad everybody knew this one. The Double Asteroid Redirection Test, or DART. There were, for those of you who aren't aware, there were two asteroids, Didymos and Dimorphos. I think it was Dimorphos that NASA actually sent a spacecraft to, and they wanted to see whether they could change the orbit of these asteroids around each other. So, they sent this spacecraft, but instead of planting a bomb on the asteroid like what happened in Armageddon, they just sort of slammed the spacecraft into Dimorphos, and if you haven't seen the footage of it, you actually can see from the camera in the DART probe, just all the rubble in the asteroid just come flying up. It was thrilling. It was absolutely thrilling. And it was successful. They actually did change the orbit of Didymos and Dimorphos. Now, there's no risk of anything bad happening here on Earth. These asteroids are too far away, and people at NASA are very careful to make sure nothing bad happens to Earth. But I just thought it was super fun, super thrilling, great to watch while I was getting some work done. All right, let's check our leaderboard. Space Eagle, Purple Dingo, and Wonder Badger still going strong, followed closely by Epic Yeti and Friendly Finch. Great job, everybody. Next up, what theoretical technology featured in sci-fi would use a swarm of robots to harness the total energy output of a star? So this is seen in a number of different sci-fi media, fairly common. I've seen this swarm of robots used in the Culture series books. If you're a fan of the Culture, thank you, Mike, who I was talking to earlier, for telling me about the Culture. I've read nearly every book in that series now. It's great. Also, there was an episode of Star Trek that had one of these. You guys got it right. It is a Dyson sphere. I put in a bunch of weirdo ones, and one that isn't at all this swarm of robots to harness the total energy output of a star. Additionally, if you followed astronomy news several years ago, if anybody remembers Tabby star, that was the star that had a very weird light curve, so there seemed to be something passing in front of it. But it wasn't like regular or anything. And some people thought, oh, maybe there's a Dyson sphere around that star, which later turned out not to be the case. They think it's like exocomets or exoasteroids, or maybe a planet with a really weird ring system passing in front of the star. But just sort of a fun thing to sort of bring Dyson spheres up in the news again. So yeah, you nerds, let's see who is on the leaderboard. Purple Dingo now at the forefront, followed closely by Space Eagle, Epic Yeti, Friendly Finch, and Caring Koala. Great job, everyone. We're coming upon our last few questions. We're going to have 4 more after this. Get your nerd caps on. On the Moon in 2001, A Space Odyssey, actors move as though they are in Earth gravity. What fraction of Earth's gravity does the Moon actually have? 1/2, 1/4, 1/6, or 1/3? But yeah, it's a little weird watching 2001 now, because like on the Moon, the actors are just walking around normally, and now we've seen people actually on the Moon sort of bouncing around a little bit. There's also a joke I like to tell about 2001, since some people think that Stanley Kubrick faked the moon landing. The joke I heard was Stanley Kubrick was such a perfectionist that he made them film on location. Anyway, so yeah, you all got that right. Oh my god, I didn't know that one off the top of my head. I had to look that one up. So the Earth has 1/6 the gravity of the Moon. I mean, the Moon has 1/6 the gravity of the Earth. Sorry, it's getting a little bit late, and as I've told you, I'm becoming more absent-minded with age. A professorship might actually happen to me. Anyway, so great job, everyone. And Stanley Kubrick did not fake the moon landing. If he did, he made them film it on location. So, let's see our leaderboard. Ooh, nothing has changed. Great job, everyone. Purple Dingo, Space Eagle, Epic Yeti, Friendly Finch, and Karen Koala still in the lead. Next question. In The Expanse, the proto-molecule is first discovered on the moon Phoebe. Which planet does Phoebe orbit? Phoebe is a real moon. I think pretty much every location in The Expanse is a real place in the solar system. Not once they get into like the ring system later, but everything in the solar system. So, does Phoebe orbit Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, or Saturn? Ooh, a little bit of a tough one. So whenever anybody asks you what planet a moon that you don't recognize orbits, generally a good answer, if you're just completely guessing, is going to be Saturn. Saturn has the most moons in our solar system. It is just teeming with moons. This is because some people think that the ring system, and we don't actually know this yet, but some scientists think that the ring system has something to do with moon formation. So that seems pretty reasonable, because planets that have ring systems, like Jupiter, Uranus, and Saturn, tend to have a lot of moons. Unlike Mars, which only has 2 moons, Phobos and Deimos, and Mars doesn't have a ring system. So again, whenever anybody asks you, where's this moon orbit? You can generally guess that it's going to be Saturn. I think Saturn has like 130-something moons now. They're discovering them all the time. So, let's go back to our leaderboard. Space Eagle, you're back up. Epic Yeti, Purple Dingo, Wonder Badger, and Friendly Finch. You are the biggest nerds. Alright, after this we're going to have 2 more questions. Next up, in Dune, the desert planet Arrakis used to be covered in oceans. What solar system body also used to have liquid oceans? Venus, Europa, Mercury, or Mars? Who else is excited about the Dune movie coming out soon? I've read up to book 4. I need to read more. I thought that this was very good. The new Dune movie was very good. I tried to watch the David Lynch one like 5 times, and I keep on falling asleep right at the beginning. Ooh, yeah, you guys rock! The answer was Mars. So, Europa actually still has liquid oceans. So it didn't used to be covered in oceans. It still is covered in oceans. Mars, however, it's starting to look like Mars may have had liquid oceans in the past. Scientists have found evidence of flowing riverbanks of former riverbeds on Mars. Additionally, this is more recent news that I was just flabbergasted by. But one of the rovers found opals on Mars, which are formed from the interaction between silicates and water. So just another indication that Mars used to be covered with water. So fun stuff. All right, so leaderboard. Epic Yeti up top, followed by Space Eagle, Wonder Badger, Friendly Finch, and Caring Koala. Great job, everyone. Last, no, 21 of 22. Okay, there's 2 more. All right, War of the Worlds, H.G. Wells. Which theoretically possible method of launching spacecraft do the Martians utilize? Is it a space elevator, a space cannon, or a railgun? Ion thrusters, or beam-powered propulsion? If you haven't read War of the Worlds, I would recommend it. I assigned it to my class on science fiction and astronomy. It's a very exciting read, and there's some very, very good science actually in the beginning. Ooh, you're a little bit divided. I love it. All right, so in the beginning of War of the Worlds, the Martians are launched using pretty much a space cannon, because the characters see on Mars like a gun going off, and this was also seen in a lot of early science fiction, like War of the Worlds, H.G. Wells. There was a book by Jules Verne that also did this. I think it was called From the Earth to the Moon. One of my friends, Yolana, was talking about this earlier as sort of being a joke about Americans and their guns. So this actually, before rocketry became a thing, rocketry was considered sort of like a bunk way of getting things into space for a long time, until Jet Propulsion Laboratory became a thing. And Jet Propulsion Laboratory was put together by a group of uber nerds called the Suicide Squad at Caltech. And they were led by a guy named Jack Parsons, very interesting guy. But before that, a very common trope in science fiction was this space gun. That seemed a little bit more likely. And at least one person, I think his name was Gerard Bull, actually tried to build one in order to launch satellites into space, but it never got off the ground. Ha ha ha, sorry for the dad joke. Anyway, so we're coming upon our last question. Let's see how our leaderboard is doing first, though. Space Eagle back on top, flying through the sky. All right, and Epic Yeti, Friendly Finch, Purple Dingo, and Wonder Badger. Great job, everyone. One last chance. Last question. In Doctor Who, the Doctor and Rose see the next stage of the sun's life in the distant future. What does the sun become? For those of you who haven't seen this episode, I believe it was in the first season after Doctor Who was relaunched. This was with the 9th Doctor. What does the sun become? I really enjoyed this episode when I saw it. I'm like, oh, I'm glad that they did this. I think that the last human is in it too. And they're sentient trees who became another intelligent life form. I loved it. Aw, you guys know your stellar evolution. All right, so the next thing the sun will become is a red giant. So what's going to happen is, currently the sun is what we call a main sequence star. It is a G-type star on the main sequence. And that means that it burns at around 6,000-ish Kelvin. And the color that it peaks at is sort of in the yellow range. So what happens when a star is on the main sequence is that it fuses hydrogen into helium. And when hydrogen runs out in the core of a main sequence star, the star collapses, and then it will reignite when it gets hot enough in its collapse to fuse the helium in the core into carbon and oxygen. And when it gets to that point, it's called a red giant. So this will be the next stage of stellar evolution that the sun goes through. Probably not going to happen for about another 5 billion years, so don't worry, it's not going to happen tomorrow. But when the sun becomes a red giant, it's going to become so big that the Earth is going to be just vaporized inside of it. The sun is going to get so large, its surface will be at about the orbit of Mars, so it's really going to get quite a bit bigger. So yeah, those were our questions. Let's see who won. In third place, we have Friendly Finch. Great job. In second place, we have Epic Yeti. First place, ooh, Space Eagle, the biggest nerd. With runners up, Purple Dingo and Classy Otter. So great job, everybody. I put in some hard questions in there. So I hope that you enjoyed. If you are one of our leaders, we will be contacting you if you put in your real email address, they will pick the first of the prizes, and from there we will continue going down our list of leaders. So if you're not on this list, if one of the people on here is not able to get these prizes, we'll just continue going down the list of people in this game. So hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all are as big of nerds as me, and maybe you found something you want to check out, learn about a little bit more, maybe like gravitational slingshots or Tartar or time dilation. So, or if you can look up the opals that were found on Mars, because I think opals are so pretty. So yeah, let's see. Some people that some things that I want to see what people had trouble with as well. I'm gonna check our chat first. Nice seeing everybody. Thank you so much for coming. All right, looks like people had some trouble with some of these. Yeah, these were the difficult ones, some of them. Great job, everybody. All right. So we're nearing the end of our stream. Thank you all so much for participating. And I hope that we'll all see you at the next trivia night. Let's see. So thank you all for playing Astro Trivia with us. I'd like to encourage you, if you're not already following the Dunlap Institute on social media, that you consider giving us a follow. You can learn about when the next trivia night is, as well as learn about any of the other fun events that we have going on, like Astro Tours, Astronomy on Tap, and other special events. If you're a winner, we'll be contacting you at the email you signed up with. And our winners are not, and if our winners are not eligible for prizes or have not given us an address, we can contact them at, we'll move down the line. So don't despair if you're not one of our first 3 winners. Thank you all for attending and playing with us. I hope you have a great night. Keep your eyes on the prize as well as the stars. Have a good night.